Welcome to Around the Reel with your hosts, Aaron Carlson, Charles Lawson, and Samantha Hannah. Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Oh, shit. Well, better fix that, huh? Let's fix that now.
Hey, guys, how are you?
Hey.
Dude.
Hello.
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
I am fixing my name. Oh, there you are. See, there's Aaron. We need it. There you go.
There you go.
It has to be that or I get really angry.
Yes. It's fixed now, though. Armen, wow. Hi, buddy.
Is that how you say your
Hi.
name? Is that correct?
Yeah, you said it correct. I thought I was looking for a spelling somewhere,
Oh,
but
no,
yeah.
we were just
Yeah.
wondering if you said it correctly.
Yes, you did. It's Armen.
I said it correctly, Samantha.
Oh, okay.
I got used.
But you stand for all of us, so when you say it.
Oh, I'm the face for all of us here? It's a good
We're
face.
all the face for all of us.
Picked a great face. Right, Chuck?
Yeah, sure. That
Don't
sounds
go
good.
too far
Whatever.
with that. Just don't.
Well, I'm trying to read the rest of Armen's shirt. So did you get the royal flush, or are you just sitting with a king ace and jack? You know,
Just this shirt, guys. I went to Vegas this New Year's. I just got this shirt and COVID. That's it.
You got the shirt and COVID.
You got
Yeah.
that. Damn it. Well,
I feel like everybody got that over the holidays.
kind of.
I went to Vegas. I flew on an airplane. I lost $2,000 and all of my immune system in one trip. Yay!
Right. Yeah, everybody's getting the bid. But you know what? We're resilient, and we made it. So it is what it is.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did, my man. Wow. Okay. Well, we got our show back, guys. We took a little break before the end of the year to finish some movie
We're
stuff we
making
were doing.
shit.
Do you call that a little break?
It was
though?
about a month off from the show. Yeah. So this is like our second episode back for 2024. That's cool. We're back.
Did you guys end up like shooting something? Is that what you guys were doing?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing all kinds of stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
We got a documentary almost ready to go. We've got the Horrorverse over on YouTube that's kicking butt. And we did our first feature film in our YouTube channel, Horrorverse, so it's kicking butt. We released that on the 1st, actually, so it's fun. We're doing a lot of stuff, man. It's good.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
I appreciate that, man. I mean, it's not on the level of what Armen's done, but we're going to talk about that as the show. Dude, yeah, it's great. Okay, well, you guys ready to do a show?
I'm ready.
I've been
Yeah.
I've been on stage for the last 15 minutes.
Well, you know how we do it on Around the Reel. This is already going to be in the show, but I'm just saying, let's introduce our guests to the audience. Why don't we do that? All right, Armen.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody, my friend, and let's get started.
I'm Armen Kevorkian. I'm a visual effects supervisor and also have been directing recently in the past few years. I worked on a lot of the DC TV shows that were out a while back, which don't exist anymore. So it's been a good run with those guys, and that's when I got my opportunity to direct on those, on shows like Flash and Supergirl. So it was a great experience for me.
That is awesome, man. That is crazy. And that's what's fun about this show, because I got a name drop from somebody we know hey, reach out to Armen, see if he wants to be on the show. And unfortunately, Armen, like you, probably don't know who the hell I am. I didn't know who the hell you were.
Yeah, right.
Right. So I check out his IMDb, like we all did, and we're like, what the fuck? He did Banshee? He was on Banshee?
No way.
Yeah, that's exciting, right? So good for you, man. So visual effects, directing, all kinds of stuff you've done.
Producing.
Yeah.
What else do you do? Jack of all trades guy?
Yeah, I mean, I you're talking about like our hobbies or work-wise?
Well, either one.
Yeah, whatever, man. Our show's pretty wide open. Just tell us about yourself. That's what we want.
I guess whatever excites me at the moment. I like to paint and draw and things like that.
Oh,
I play music not well, but I like to. So just different things like that.
You're an
Just
overall creative.
yeah, I
Sounds
love
like.
being creative. I think that's my drug. Just
Yeah.
to kind of put something together and then enjoy the process of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Enjoy that process. That's key. I tell these guys that all the time. They got
Because
to.
Oh,
you have to enjoy the process, because sometimes it's tedious, heartbreaking, and really makes you want to rip out your hair.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
I don't feel that way. I never do.
Really?
No.
Take off your hat.
Well, that's not because of the industry. That's because of like the work I don't want to do. It's not this stuff. It's never been this.
It's the 9 to 5.
It's the 9 to 5. That'll fucking kill you. hate
But
that.
I mean, that does touch on something that, when I give advice to people who want to get into the industry, you really have to love it. You can't do it because you want to make a name for yourself. I mean, it has to be your passion, because it is hard work. I mean, working on sets, the 14 hours, it's a different culture, right? It's a tribe. And the people who've been there for a long time, that's just in their blood. You make sacrifices, you work long hours, and you have to love it at the end of the day. Sometimes you hate yourself, but at the same time, once you complete something, that satisfaction is something else.
Right. Yeah.
So are you part of a tribe? Do you have a specific set of guys that you run around with, and they're like, oh man, don't forget call Armen, get him in here. We'll make sure he takes care of this part for us.
Well, I ran a company called Encore for about 12 years, which was a visual effects company that did a lot of this work. So that was my tribe. It was, Encore was like 8 people when I started. They were like a fix-it shop back in the day. And when I came, one of the projects I ended up doing there was Banshee. And we had to build teams, right? I can have all the great ideas in the world as a visual effects supervisor. If I don't have talented artists around me, then it just doesn't mean anything, on that level. So, yeah, I guess, I could say that, my tribe were the artists that I worked with. And, some of those guys were with me for about 12 years. That's which is very rare in visual effects to work in a place that long. But it was just that secondhand nature of knowing what I wanted, tapping into their specific talents, not only liking working together, but liking each other as people, that just made it a seamless process. Because when the superhero shows first came to us, it was at a time that you didn't see a lot of the shows you see now, right? Flash came out like 10 years ago, 11 years ago, whatever it was. And it was challenging. It was frightening because, we didn't know if we were going to be able to pull off exactly what everybody was expecting. Nowadays, it's become a lot easier, and not to take away from the talent aspect of things, but it is a lot easier than it was, 10, 11 years ago to do these huge sequences that we did, not knowing if we're going to be able to pull it off. I would walk into meetings saying, yeah, don't worry about it. And then go back to my guys and be like, okay, guys,
what the fuck?
We got to figure this shit out. And it was that sort of thing. And, I think that's what bonds people too, right? Those uncomfortable bonds that really work out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So that was all, it was a great experience. I wouldn't, give that, I wouldn't take that back for anything,
Yeah, it's funny. You were just talking about setting up Encore like that, and it just reminded me, because I just not too long ago watched the George Lucas thing about doing Lucas, his Industrial Light Magic stuff on Disney, and it sounded similar, like grabbing the people that are good talent, but get along with them. I mean, they had like this family of guys when they first started that company. So, is that kind of an influence for you guys when you started this, or what was your influence when you got into visual effects?
It wasn't an influence. I went to film school, and I really wanted to do an internship somewhere because I'd never been on a studio lot, nothing like that. So as naive as I was back in the day, what I was doing is I was taking my resume, which by the way had nothing in the entertainment industry on it. Badass. And I would go to the studio lots and give it to like the security guards, thinking like that was going to do something.
check out my resume. This shit's badass.
Which it didn't, by the way. But what did get me in was I called Paramount and I lied that I saw an ad for a internship. And they said, hold. And they transferred me to Star Trek, which at the time was doing Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
Holy shit.
Wow.
And they answered Star Trek Post. And I'm like, holy shit, what do I say now? So I said, hey, I saw an ad for an internship. And she goes, can you come in like Wednesday for an interview?
Oh, wow.
I ended up doing an interview. I got the internship. A month later.
That you created.
That's so great.
No, I guess they did internships, and I don't know if they had an ad or not, or they were just looking at that moment, and she didn't pay attention to what I said. But I got the internship, and a month later, there was a entry-level position open.
Okay.
And they offered it to me, and I said as long as I could finish school, so I had like a few months left in school. They said sure, and that's how I got into visual effects, guys. I was there for
Awesome.
like 5 years at a very low peon position, obviously, but then kind of left to be a VFX coordinator. Then a year after that, I became a visual effects supervisor. But I knew nothing about visual effects in film school. I mean, that wasn't like a passion. But as I was there all those years, I learned a lot, and I realized if there's anything that's going to help me get into directing, it was visual effects, because you spend a lot of time on set, you see from start to finish, and it was just one of those things that I said, I'm not going to say no to it because it's not exactly what I want. I think that would be foolish, and I just stuck with it, and here we are.
All right. Well, so ultimately, you wanted to be a director, though. That was what your ultimate goal was.
Yeah, my ultimate goal was to be a director, but I also knew too many people who had gone to film school and were like, well, if I can't direct, I don't want to do anything. And, some of those people that I went to school with ended up working at Macy's, which there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot wrong with it, trust me.
I worked there. You worked there.
But, I do feel like there's so many people in the industry that they give it a chance. I know a lot of camera guys who, didn't want to be necessarily camera guys, but became camera guys and eventually got to direct, right? Editors did the same. A lot of people who get to even writing, who then, switch over to directing, it's just everyone's path is different. So you shouldn't say no to any door, any doors that open up for you.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. 100%.
Especially if they're doors that lead to places you want to go.
Yeah. That'd be it's a dumb move to do that. You got to drop your ego at the door. You know what I mean? Let that shit go.
For sure.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you he got in there with some bullshit. I love it. I love it.
Pretty much.
That's the hustle, though, man. I mean, but
half of this crap is a hustle.
It is, but at the same time, he believed in himself enough to do it, to do that hustle. You know what I mean? How much balls did he have to take to walk up like that and say, dude, commendable. It's commendable, man. I love it. I love it. So you learned everything you needed to know, kind of, or at least got you started in an internship. And then you worked your way down this path that led you to all this beautiful work you've done. Because I've watched maybe 5 seasons of The Flash. Me and my kids love that show. It started to get a little weird at the end. We were like, okay, like up to season 4, it was badass, and then it kind of dribbled off. But the first 4 seasons are incredible. So did you work on those?
I did. It's funny you say that. The last year that I directed was season 4.
Oh, no joke. Okay, yeah, it's dope.
Yeah. And then I stopped doing the effects the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Okay.
Not to get into why, but yeah, it was a little bit of a different direction that it didn't work for me, and I got fired, to be honest with you.
No, okay, no, it happens.
They got new EPs. We just sometimes you don't see eye to eye. You're gonna have 2 groups of really good people, and there's no chemistry,
Yeah, I totally get it. And if I was you, I'd be like, dude, I was on 1 through 4. And season 1 through 4 are badass. What are you guys doing? What the fuck are you guys doing?
I built this shit up. You guys let it fall down.
Yeah.
It's an amazing thing. And I was always surprised the amount of effects that were in that show, because it's so many episodes and so many seasons. And you've obviously got to get these things out, once a week. They're popping. How the hell did you guys do that?
I'm telling you, we just had an amazing team. At one time, we had Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, not including the smaller shows we did at Encore, which were like non-superhero. So we had those 3 superhero shows, and then we got Batwoman, and I think there was one more. I forget which one that was. Oh, we did Titans for 2 years.
Okay.
So there was one point where all I was doing throughout the day was just reviewing visual effects shots and doing meetings for the next episode of this show and all that. And then sometimes when I would have to go direct, I would kind of fit all that through my day. And the times that I would direct, I would direct during the day, and depending on, sometimes there were night shoots. I would have to come back, and my team would have set up a link to review all the shots. So I would stay up another however long it was, just to review shots. Again, that's the passion part that comes into it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it out of responsibility. I really did it because I loved it. And, as tired as you are, you're like, I don't know, there's something great about it, guys. It's a drug.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that keeps me going. And on our level, Armen, one of the things that I get from a lot of filmmakers up where we're at, we're in the Seattle, Tacoma area, Pacific Northwest, is, we constantly get, how you guys doing all this? How do you guys do all what you're doing? Because we still have day jobs. We're still hustling our way. Had a few movies out there. They're starting to make money. We're grinding it out. We got a podcast we've been doing for 4 seasons now, 4 years. We're doing stuff, but it takes time. But you definitely have to work. We all got kids. We got families. We got shit to do.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't understand how we do it. And it's like, because we like doing it. It's fun. We enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, you won't do it.
Absolutely.
You just won't do it. This is the only thing that I've ever done in my life that I know I enjoy so much because I don't think about it. All those other jobs, I'm looking at the clock like, oh, Jesus Christ, I just want to go home. I don't want to be here. You get that feeling. I don't think that way. I go out on set. I'm gone. It can be like, when we're out there all day, it's just like, I didn't even feel like it.
He's always like,
Right.
I'm only going to be gone
We only
2
got an
hours.
hour. Why? The generator's dying.
I had no idea. It's just one of those things. But that's the passion you're talking about. And I love that. And I think people need to ask themselves that question when they get into this. Do they really, really love this? Or is it for something else? Yeah. It's a great thing to think about. It really is.
It's one of those things, though, where you do have to have a passion for it, like above just wanting to be in the industry. You have to really have a desire and a passion to the craft itself, which is different than, all the glitz and glamour and stuff of the film industry. Mm-hmm. It's much different. Right. There's a craft behind it where people make all these things, and that's where your passion has to really be. Or you'll know right away. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny how doing this stuff for as long as we've been doing it has helped me over this last year to really start thinking of like what other people do for a living. Like if they're a plumber, and I'm like, how the fuck do you? Why are you gonna be a plumber, dude? But what if he's passionate about being a plumber like I am for this? Some people are, yeah.
Then it's good for you, man, right? If you look at it that way, it's a lot different. So it's helped me like be cool with what other people choose to do in their lives, right?
If he's just a plumber because he can't keep his pants up.
Well, that's whatever. I don't know why I pick plumbers.
I don't know why either.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm a bartender, and I can't say that I was passionate going into it being a bartender, but I knew that I had a good person to teach me everything. So sometimes that kind of helps. If you have someone to look up to and to teach you certain crafts, then that does make it a little bit easier. But blindly going into something, you definitely have to have a certain passion.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you
because
sure.
It's not easy, and nothing's really easy. I mean, nothing that's worth it is easy.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too, is once you're in it, you have to work hard. There's a lot of people who get into it and don't realize that there is a lot of hard work that goes into it. And if you don't put that work into it, then you aren't going to succeed. You're not just going to get it because you've taken that first step, right? That first step is the easy step, even getting your foot in the door, where people say it's the hardest step. Mm-hmm. It's proving yourself for years and not being, I think you said something really great. You said you have to put your ego aside. Mm-hmm. No matter how long you've been in the business too. Not that you should put up with people disrespecting you necessarily. Correct. But there's certain levels that you get to where sometimes people aren't going to speak to you the way that you want, and you shouldn't put up with it necessarily. But at the same time, you have to know when to take certain actions and when not to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
But if you work hard, especially now, I don't see someone not succeeding, and you got to be patient. Just because you worked hard a year doesn't mean you're entitled to get something.
Absolutely.
I waited I don't know how long to direct for the first time, and I didn't feel like it was owed to me. I felt lucky. I still feel lucky that I got to direct all those episodes. So you just keep that. You just stay young in heart. You know what I mean? Excited by the whole thing, and I think you'll succeed.
Very well said, Armen. You know what I mean?
That was good.
That's what it's about. It is.
True. It's true.
How many times?
Is smoking allowed on the podcast?
I vape all the time. Go for it, buddy. You're
you
totally
can smoke,
drinking,
swear,
smoking,
shit. I prefer
whatever.
that you don't have sex on the show because I've been told I'm not allowed to.
No, we told Chuck not to do it, but there's a reason why I don't. Well, maybe that is the reason why I like plumbers, Charles.
My ass don't hang out of my pants.
Okay.
I don't have an ass to keep my pants up, but my ass don't hang out of my pants.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That is true, yeah.
Wow. How many episodes did you direct for the DC stuff?
I did 8 episodes total. I did 3 episodes of The Flash, and I did 5 episodes of Supergirl. I've also done a ton of second unit stuff for them.
Okay, that's a lot.
A lot of the sequences, like VFX sequences, I did do the directing. And then outside of Flash, outside of the superhero realm, I did some second unit directing for some other shows that I worked on as well.
Okay.
That were non VFX driven.
Right. So let me ask you a question then. So I edit everything we do. I'm an editor. I love editing. It's my thing. That's where the movie comes together to me. I fucking love it. It's fun as shit. I'll be gone. It's the best puzzle you can make. But when I'm on set and directing something or filming something or all of the above, Chuck has said it, Sam has said it, how it's really nice to have me here because I know what shots I want because I can already see my timeline when I'm editing in my head as I'm out there filming, right? So I'm assuming, since we have a visual effects guy now on our team, when he's there, it's very nice to have him when we're doing something visually for an effect, right? Like, the machete thing we did on the Horrorverse going through the body or the knife in the head, I'm able to look at him and go, how do you want me to block this shot? How would you like me to do this to make it easy on you in post? And he'll be like, blah, 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 and tell me everything. And I'm like, okay, perfect. So when you're doing that second unit stuff, do you get a lot of that or do you ask to do that when you're working on a certain film?
Well, if I'm doing the second unit, then if it's a visual effects sequence, you're playing the role of director and visual effects supervisor at that point. So you know exactly what you want.
Right.
That's why a lot of times those sequences I was, sent up, to Vancouver to do those.
Makes sense.
It was pretty straightforward. It just made the process easier. I knew what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
So, time is obviously very, very important on those productions too, on every production. To make sure you make your day, right? It's a very expensive day. So that was my role. It was like a twofer, right? Director and visual effects supervisor. Now, when I've been on sets working with other directors, it's exactly what you said, where you've already prepped, the basics of what that scene is about. There's going to be a creature. I'm going to need this on set, a guy in, a green suit or whatever it may be. We need this to be practical, to be knocked over. And so you've discussed all those things. So when you do show up on set, you're really just there to kind of answer any questions of everything you've discussed previously. And I've been lucky for the most part. Most of the directors I've worked with have been very open to putting their egos aside and saying, well, he probably knows this better than I do. And at the end of the day, I'm going to look like the genius. So
damn right.
Let's do it this way. So yeah, I've been lucky that way.
That's cool.
Do you agree with this? This is what I feel I've learned being in this industry, that that the director, it seems to me that better projects are made and better things come out of a director who does put their ego aside and who's able to take the ideas and things of other people that are around them, that be it actors, be anyone who has something to give them, if they're able to take it in and think about it and maybe possibly change the route of where they're going or whatever. I always feel like that's where the magic actually really truly happens. Maybe that's just in the indie world, but I was wondering if that was your experience as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing about it is, director comes with like, oh, I did everything, but it's truly not. It's like you're almost like a funnel of information, right? Like people do come to you. I've had people, in the costume department come and say, hey, I think if she wears this with the location that you've picked, it's going to be much better. They're all storytellers.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No one's coming to you in a point where like, I want credit for this. They really want to help you out. And if you always resist that because it's not your idea, then that's, first of all, it's a shitty thing to do.
Goddamn right it is.
Yeah.
Good idea. And number two, you're just hurting yourself at the end of the day because you're taking a great idea and not using it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do think that's very, very important to directing a good project. And number two, 80% of your good work is in prep. If you prep it and you ask all the questions and and you're very clear with every department of what you're thinking and you guys discuss this back and forth, when you show up on set, which is your most important time, because it's a limited time, then everything goes really, really smoothly. And I do think that people sometimes have a misconception that, good directors do 100 takes. If you're not doing 100 takes, then you're not a good director.
We went through this exact thing, yes.
I've done, which was risky. I've done some big emotional scenes, like close-ups of like one of our main actors in one take, because I thought it was
what you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And when you get it, you get it, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you like it. I mean, what you do at that point is you go to them, because they also know, right? They gave you their heart. You'll say something like, "Hey, Tom, were you good with that?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Or you'll say like, "Hey, can I do another one?" And you give him that.
Yeah, you give him that. Yep.
Yeah.
You give him that for sure. But like, especially in TV, if you're doing more than 2-3 takes, you're not going to win.
You're not going to make your day. You're going to fall behind. Yeah.
You're not going to make your deadline.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like that. Before I even started really taking directing seriously, just doing what we used to do all the time. I never realized that we only do, 1 or 2 takes. But in my mind, it was great. When I saw somebody do it and they did it right, I was good to go. And then we started to work with more and more actors, more and more people. And they were like, "You sure we got everything?" I'm like, "Yeah, we got it. Trust me." And then I ran into Clint Eastwood stuff and how Clint does it. And I'm like, okay, so maybe, just maybe, there's a million ways to do some of this stuff. Everybody's got a different way. But this is my way. I mean, I'm in tune with these actors. I love talking to them about the characters. I love talking about the story. If we have actors on our sets, Armen, that are not asking me questions or want to change something, sometimes I feel like, are they the right one for the role?
Are you really into it? Yeah.
I want them to do that, because it a long time ago, the more minds, the better. It just seems to flow. And if you're open to that, like Armen was saying, and like we've all been doing, it just makes a simple thing so much better. We're writing this indie stuff, and we're gaining audience and momentum, right? We've got a ton of people now that know who we are, and we're working with us all the time. It's great,
right?
And there's a reason for that, and I think it's because of the way we conduct ourselves on set, the way we prep, and how we're prepared. But also we let them invest themselves into what we're making. And I think, like I said a long time ago on this show, it's like, if this is going to suck, it's because of all of us. It's not just my fault. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah. And I think a lot of other filmmakers out there that I know they listen to our show, and I want them to think about that. If they're stuck on an idea, I've been stuck on an idea that I wanted before. We all do it. But if you're good with like being able to just do it once in a while, if it's something super important, pick 1 or 2 things in your movie you want. Let the other shit just be kind of loosey goosey. See what happens. Have fun with it, And,
you get some great advice, collaboration from different departments.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The stunts departments that I've worked with, even special effects, when they're going to do like a explosion somewhere, or some kind of rig or whatever it may be, they'll come to you, because it's not only more practical to do it that way because it's safer or whatever, but it does make the scene better, the shot better, that sequence better. And it's just a matter of being open. And if you've thought of it one way, you have to be ready to kind of switch that up, because that happens on set, on the day as well. Mm-hmm. Like there's been so many times where, I don't know, in Vancouver it rains, for example, all the time, just like in Seattle.
Like here.
So it could be one of those moments you're like, shit, I have to rethink this scene the way that I wanted. And sometimes you're not happy that you have to do it, but you have to be ready to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to be open to it, for sure. Because you never really know what's going to happen, especially like when it comes to natural stuff like rain and storms and shit. You never know. So if you're able to I guess, adapt to whatever situation that you're in, then you're going to be gold.
That's another.
Definitely.
That makes you another valuable director if you're able to adapt.
Yes.
I
it's
believe.
Important.
Yeah.
I've been in a situation where, I had a shot planned with a techno crane, and the techno crane broke. And you could sit there and you could bitch about it as much as you want. And why is this happening? It doesn't really matter.
It's not going to fix it.
It's not going to fix it. And what you're doing is you're being a baby and wasting your time. So what you have to do is think of another shot.
Yep.
So that should be your priority at that moment, saying, it's all right, let's put it aside. I'm not going to get the sweeping shot that I want, but I think if we set up a camera, I don't know,
whatever,
somewhere else, we'll do this, and then maybe we'll do a dolly here. Like, you just have to think on your feet.
And be adaptable.
You got to dance, bro.
Joey, go get your rollerblades out of the car. We're going to go flying through this motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by the way, when people see you react that way, they become more active in trying to help you find a solution too.
Absolutely.
Yep. And you give them a sense of security too. They know that this is
it's all going to be okay.
Yeah, a professional set here. This guy's got an arsenal of things that he can do, or she, to make this work no matter what. We're in good hands. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Huh.
Yeah. I think that's so important, the whole set thing and behind the scenes and making it just not a toxic environment, because toxic environments create toxicity. I mean, obviously, it just it gets fights and all kinds of things, and everything bad happens. I feel like when that's the case.
Yeah.
And we've heard so many horror stories from our actors that we work with about sets that have been toxic and just horrible and wasted their whole day and felt like they wasted their day and wasted their time.
Yeah, and that's sad as shit. And that scares me. That's the thing that scares me. And I know it does Chuck, and I know it does you when we're making our little indie movies. It's like, I don't want anybody to feel that way ever.
That's why you want people to be invested and help, help with.
And we have so much fun on our sets. There was times when we started doing more things and bringing in, forgive me for everybody who helped us make our early shit, friends, family, mom, my cousin.
It's fine. We forgive you. Go on.
Anyway, we have so much fun on our sets. It was like, is this professional enough for everybody who's going to show up to actually work?
Yeah, we never knew.
Guess what?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
Yeah, we never knew. Armen, we never knew. No. We were making stuff between, like Chuck said, friends, family, and stuff. We're sitting there going, it's like, I wonder what real sets are like.
I mean, we thought that. We
thought that all the time.
Yeah.
And as soon as we got on one, we were like, shit, we do it better than this. I mean, that's really how we felt.
But real sets could be fun too. I mean, that's the thing that I've always wanted to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we're there for at least 12 hours, right? And if we're not having fun, then what are we doing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And I'm not saying be giddy all the time, but at the same time, you have to enjoy yourself. You have to joke. You have to be able to, I guess, not take it so seriously. I mean, what's that? We're not saving lives.
Correct.
Yeah,
we're playing.
Well, we're playing, but we're creating.
Now, the medic on the set, remember, your job is to save fucking lives.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Disclaimer.
That's a little different. You're right. Yeah, no, that's good stuff, Armen.
You can get lost in creating, though, to the point where you do get mad and you do get upset where if something's not working out the way that you want it to. And as a creative person, I know that every creative person has felt that at some point or another and had to work their way through it. But obviously, the best way to do that is to, okay, so I can't have it my way. What's next?
Yeah.
Like, what's other ways? And just start thinking that way. Because if you get lost in being angry, then you lose your whole sense of what you were even doing in the first place. And creativity is fun, and it's supposed to be fun.
I think I think what we've done, and I think what happens is that if you surround yourself with the right people,
that's key.
You're not going to have those kind of toxic moments, right? So I always feel like if you're careful before you even start a project, of really talking and really taking the time to build the team that you want, and it, and you've done your research, and you even built relationships with these people before, I mean, you think about all the big directors out there, they always go back to the same people. Spielberg did it, a lot of other guys did it. That's what they do. They know them, and I think that if you keep that kind of mentality, there's nothing wrong with adding to your team, but just try to make sure that you're not doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, oh, that's a big name person, I want them in my movie. And then you realize that big name person is a fucking asshole. And now your whole set's fucked because you got this one person on there that is just not thinking like you. You gotta really think about that stuff.
Well, it's crazy how one person can bring on an entire set to its
Absolutely, they can
completely, change the whole atmosphere.
Yep.
So that is what we try to be really careful about that. Like, we've built our family from our podcast, basically.
From the ground fucking up. Yep. We sure have.
And so we've hand selected the people that we work with, and we're so happy with them and that. But we've gotten an opportunity to interview them through the podcast. So it's kind of a cheating way to
we cheat.
family, but
we cheat, Armen. We're like, hey, you
we
want to
have
be on
a
the show?
great family.
And then we know, and we're like, yeah, I like that guy.
Well, it's like an audition, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're doing open auditions. They must think we're talking about them.
It's no joke.
It is. We've even had people reach
It's like
out
faking
and
your
say,
own internship or something.
Yeah, we've had
exactly.
people reach out to us and say, well, we want to work with you. We want to be a part of your project. And I just say, well, come on the podcast. That's how we interview people.
Pretty much.
We just get to know people this way, and it's a good way to do it. But
it's funny.
But building a family is, I think, key.
I take that part of it very seriously. Yeah, in fact, this last year we did 0 auditions. I reach out to people specifically.
We don't do them.
Yeah.
Well, because you honestly just admit that you think of stories with people in your head already.
Sometimes, yeah, that's true.
You already know who's
that's true.
the part.
Yeah, that is true. But I think of them because I've seen what they've done. I've done that research that time. And we've all done that. And I think that's one way to do it. Now, I think it holds us back sometimes because I think auditions will only shine a light on other talent we don't know.
That's true.
Right.
So we have to get out of that. We can't make this a normal routine for us.
We can't just have the same people every single time.
Well, we can be like Adam Sandler. I'm fine with it. He did it. Yeah. Okay. You know what? So how long have we been going? Oh, that's not bad. Armen, we got to talk about Banshee for a minute.
Okay.
Okay, please, because that is my fucking top #1 show I've ever watched. My buddy from high school hit me up one day. He's like, Aaron, have you ever seen Banshee? I'm like, what the fuck is Banshee? He's like, dude, you got to watch the show. It's right down your alley. I'm like, okay. So it took me like a year to even think about putting it on. He kept bugging me. But I put that show on, brother. I watched all of that shit like in a week. I could not stop.
In a week,
So good,
you watched
right?
most of it in a couple of days.
I didn't fuck around. The whole house, the kids are like, Dad. I'm like, fuck you, get out of here. I didn't mess around, dude. I watched it all.
We couldn't talk. We couldn't walk. We couldn't live.
So, what'd you work on that show? Obviously, visual effects, but how'd you become a part of that one? Because I fucking love that show. It's great.
I only did the first season of Banshee for the visual effects.
Okay.
And someone at Encore knew the director who was gonna do the pilot. His name is Greg Utanis. And Greg had done, I think, House with Encore before I had joined, that TV show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought this pilot in, and there was a sequence in the pilot where our main character, I forget his name now, is in New York, and
Is that the bus?
he gets chased by the bad guys.
Yes.
And the challenge was they only had access to 5th Street. Okay. And 5th Street is a one-way street. And if they did it with real cars, the reset would be crazy.
Right.
And also he wanted it to be a dynamic scene, handheld, all that stuff. And he wanted the real actor in it, and he wanted a camera following him and all that, which was not safe. So when we did the meeting, and this was over 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was way back.
Yeah.
They flew me to New York to see the location, and Greg kind of went through what he wanted to see, and he's like, well, how can we do this? And I'm like, I don't know, we could just do all the cars CG.
Okay.
The bus obviously had to be CG, and he said, what do you mean all the cars? I said, every single car. He says, well, he interacts with one. I said, it's all right, we'll just put a car door, and that could be the real one, and then we'll paint it out and add a CG car. And again, not to toot our own horn, but this was at a time you didn't see too many CG cars, and
interacting with people.
Yeah.
Interacting with people, and to be that close to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
don't think anyone...
Toot that horn
Toot
because
it.
you're absolutely right. Yeah. That's
And I don't think anyone...
Here's the guys back home. Armen's like, yeah, you bet we can do it. These guys are like, fuck.
Yeah, there was a lot of times my team would be like, what the fuck did you agree to?
What are we signed up for?
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue, please.
No, and it was just one of those situations. I think no one thought we would pull it off like seamlessly.
Yeah, man.
And I think my team at the time that worked on it was, including the VFX producer, artist-wise, I think it was just 6 artists.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Okay.
My lord, dude.
And, yeah, we shot it. I went to New York a second time, and we shot it that day, and we did it.
Yeah, you did. I can tell you right now, when that sequence is flawless. Like, I was like, how the fuck did they film this? Like, that got me. And when I saw the bus, I'm like, okay, that's probably CG. No clue the cars were. No clue at all. You guys fucking killed that.
Thank you. Yeah, we did the cars on both sides, because you cover them from both sides. And there's a lot of shots right after where the bad guys, just hanging out there watching him leave and all that. Mm-hmm. And we put all the cars in those shots too, because it was all closed off the roads, for the few hours that we had on 5th Street. So that was great. I mean, it was
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna put that clip in the show, so when this goes on YouTube, people can see that. You got to see that. That is one of the best scenes ever. I mean, and that show was just amazing. So good for you, man. Man. And I think what we're making is cool.
Right. Well, wait a second. Now let Sam get into this. Now, what was the name of the show that you love, Sam?
Virgin River.
Which one?
Virgin River.
Oh. Virgin River. What's the effects besides adding water? What were the effects that you guys did for Virgin River? I've actually never seen the show. I was giving Sam crap.
Virgin River is a lot of like set extensions. I don't know if you guys watched last year. There was like a big fire.
The whole thing.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I watched it all.
Yeah, there was like a whole fire sequence, and we added the fire. We added the aftermath of the fire. So it's different things like that. We added, I think 2 years ago, there was not a carnival, but some kind of event.
Yeah.
So it was during COVID times, and during COVID times, we did a lot of CG people.
Okay, yeah.
Makes sense.
Different shows. So we had to add different CG people doing, like climbing up. I forget what the gags were, but climbing up something, the crowds. So, this it's just a lot of what we call like invisible effects. Hopefully they're invisible.
Right.
They're invisible because
you can't see this shit.
I actually was having a tough time trying to answer the question because I was like, I don't really know. And the fire was definitely one that came up in my mind. But I was like, other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the bus and Banshee. That's it for me, yeah.
So when you're creating people and just, plucking them out of thin air,
right?
Are you guys using like your team as models, or where do you create these people from, or?
We just have them create generic people. I mean, we got into that a few years ago, where some of our guys figured out a way where you could take, a lot of these artists, they're so talented they could just kind of create a person, right, with really no references where they're copying someone.
Yeah.
I mean, they might look, if they're creating a woman, they'll probably get like a few references of like different women, but like take the nose from one, like almost like Kit Bash the look of it.
Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Mr. Potato Head. I was thinking of cutting out the magazine pieces, and
yeah,
I got it.
Exactly.
Making the perfect woman.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, okay.
And then they figured out a way to kind of go and with sliders basically change the initial person. So like you would kind of slide and make the nose bigger, make the hair longer, make the hair a different color. So this created like a digital library of people that weren't based on real people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So you could just take a basic, setup and then just adjust things in order to make all kinds of different people. Right?
It's like a character creator in the video games. So when I'm making my guy on my game, that's fucking cool.
I watch him make so many guys on it.
Yeah, I make guys all the time. No joke, guys.
On his game.
Yeah, I'm
okay, guys, turn the sliders off. No more taking them up to triple G.
No, I look good in my game.
Give the girls a break here.
You are not that muscly now. Stop.
My guys look good in my game. No joke. Dude, that's fantastic, man. This is crazy.
No,
so,
that's cool.
How long has Encore now been doing this?
Well, Encore, has been around. It was a post facility. Then they started their what do you call it? they had like a little division that was a fix-it division. That's when I kind of, joined. I mean, they did some effects. I don't want to take away from that, but it was a small team. I think it was like 8 people when I came on board like 12 years ago. And we went dark in September, I want to say, because of the strikes and all that. It's the first time we had gone dark. And then we had finished all our shows too. And then I actually resigned in November.
Okay.
Just to kind of pursue other things.
I get it.
And
anything you can tell us about?
I mean, nothing that's like based in a real thing yet, but I'm just kind of taking some time after 12 years, there, just to see, I do want to pursue my directing a little bit more.
Good for you.
Seriously, either continuing with some TV directing if I can, or, developing my own projects with other people who have really, really, really good scripts. But, obviously the financing part is the hardest part.
Yes.
Yeah, we know.
More and more as time goes on too.
Yeah, it is. But I think it's very possible. It's just, you just can't give up, and you have to find different ways to do it. And, I do feel that films could be a lot less than, what people spend on it now. And maybe I'm being naive, but I also think, it is true. I mean, you look at a movie like, I don't know if you guys saw Godzilla -1.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm dying to see it. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think he did that movie for like 35 million or something. I mean, don't quote me on that, but
I think you're right.
Which is not a lot of money for a big monster flick, and it looked great.
I bet it did. I mean, I seen the screenshots. It's amazing looking. And then you think 200 million for a Marvel movie? Like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
Don't tell them how much we spend on our shit.
Yeah.
Well, and I do believe that in the future that will be more of a thing. Is people coming up with creative ways to save money, because I mean, we're not just going to keep creating more money out of nowhere. It's just, we're going to have to figure out how to be crafty with our skills and get better at what we're doing for less money. And like you said, they're coming up with programs too where they make it easier.
Yeah.
To do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
With less time, less money. Less time is less money. And I just think that that's becoming part of the craft, is being able to create something out of nothing, basically. Being able to use your time wisely and use your skills wisely, and make something that doesn't cost as much, because that is something that's going to become more and more important as time goes on.
Well, I think
because inflation and everything else, and everyone's got a family, you got to live a life, you have to pay rent. So, money's money and time is money. So I think that creativity, going towards that kind of a thing, putting it more into how do you make something out of nothing, or create something with little money, it's going to matter. It will, I think, more and more as time goes on.
Armen, when I started doing this stuff, I didn't know what making movies was all about. I had no idea. I couldn't tell you what a key grip was or a gaffer. I had no idea. No clue.
Right.
Back in 2000? Yeah. So I thought when you made a movie, you had to do it all. And you just needed some actors. So I tried my ass off to learn how to edit, to color grade, to do the audio, to film it, to all of it. And to this day, that's what I do. Right? Because we don't have a budget, but it doesn't stop us from making our movies.
Right. You
know what I'm saying? I'm not relying on, God, I need an editor. I need to pay that guy. Oh, I don't know how to color grade. I need that guy. I got to need somebody to do the sound. Only thing I can't do is music. I can't do that. So if we have any money, it goes to our composer. That's about it, because I don't know how to do that. But that's what we do. And then you know what? Everything has been hands-on learning. Our entire crew, Chuck being a producer, we've learned this shit from scratch. When you're on set, you're doing everything, brother. You're doing the audio. You're doing the fucking lighting. You're doing fucking whatever it takes to make the scenes look and pop. Sam, you do the same thing. Here you are directing your documentaries and doing you. You never directed a fucking documentary before.
Not in
and you
my
made
life.
one that made money last year. How about that? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy stuff.
You have to be willing to learn all these things.
Yes.
I mean, and keep learning and never stop learning.
Never.
I swear I will be learning till the day I die.
Yeah,
I'll
bro.
be learning on the day I die.
Yeah. You know how many times I made a movie, Armen, because I wanted to try a fucking effect that I was practicing in After Effects.
And they were not always
they
good
weren't
movies.
good. But I tried my
We
ass
could have just
off.
made it short.
Yeah.
But we made a whole fucking movie.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But I wanted to try the effects so bad. And, I dabbled in that. So but I'm not very good at it. But there's things I know I can do, but there's stuff that I'm like, Jesus Christ. So it's really nice to have someone who can specialize in that department that knows it. But I know his language now.
Yeah.
And that matters. And I think that if you're a filmmaker out there just starting or in this indie stuff or even beyond, where even you're at, Armen, don't tell me you don't learn something every day.
Every single day. And by the way, I learn more from my failures than my successes.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
I'm not afraid to try something new and it doesn't work. Then I'm like, well, that didn't work.
Move on to the next thing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not every look, I've made some bad decisions on the visual effects end, on, the directing end of where I thought this was going to be a better way to do a certain scene. And if I didn't do it though, then I would have never learned. Right. And then I and have gotten better for the next time around, knowing not to do that.
Yep.
So I always want to try new things, and I don't want to always succeed. I mean, I know that's a weird thing to say. I don't want to fail.
We understand.
I don't want to fail badly either, but I also want to learn what works, what doesn't work, because I know there's not one way to do it, right? And some of the even this year, just watching any new movies that came out, it's risks that people took with stories that were different, and it resonates a certain way with people because you are like, holy shit, that's different.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw Saltburn.
I've been wanting to watch it. That's on Prime, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's that Prime.
I think it is on Prime.
Yeah. I heard it's crazy.
It's a great story. The performances are amazing. I can't imagine it being too expensive to shoot either. I mean, I don't know the details about the budget, but you get good story, good performances, and you have a beautiful film.
Yeah.
Especially if it's unique. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
another great film, guys, that I saw this year that really didn't make it into the circuit, but I thought was a shame. It's called A Good Person.
Okay.
It was directed by Zach Braff, the guy who was Scrubs.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
It has Florence Pugh in it and Morgan Freeman. It's such a great film. It's so different. It's so I know you're engaged the whole time. A lot of times I find myself, sometimes I'm watching something, I don't mind not pausing it going to the kitchen. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not a good sign.
No, I mean, no.
You want me to pause it? No, I'm good.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's so hard anymore to tell a new story or a different story because so many stories have been told but being a creative person, you figure it out, and that's where the excitement comes from. New story, something fresh, something
You know
new,
what? I think they're out there, Sam. I think they're all out there, but no one will make them except like indie folks. That's what they don't have anybody holding them back or telling them no, we can't make that. It's kind of like that. It seems like if you go on that indie level, you see some crazy shit. You see some crazy cool shit.
Some crazy chances being taken.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah. Because you don't have a studio
well,
if you're
what do you have
you
to,
can't
you
make
have
it, they're
less
not
to
going to
lose.
fund it. Yeah.
You have less to lose.
We've got less to lose. So it's a different game. It's a totally different ballpark. We're not even in the same fucking stadium.
No.
Not at all. It's different. But
there's more.
We're in the Sandlot, not the big leagues.
There's more freedom in it.
I think there is. There is, and that's why we kind of stay in our lane.
Well, we don't want to be in that other.
I don't think that's why I make movies. Yeah, I don't. I like to have fun and to make something that is unique and as unique as we can make it. And
we don't want to be rich.
fill that need we have inside.
We don't want to be rich. We just want to tell our stories and get our creativity out there for everyone to see. We want to share what we're thinking and our creativity with everyone.
Dude, as soon as we can pay our bills doing this,
being
Armen,
rich would be
I'm
nice.
out of the day job. That's it. That's all I care about.
But here's the thing. I think you could be both, right? You could be both.
You could.
Very creative, and you could be rich.
You could.
I was going to say, Sam, don't sell yourself short.
No, I'm not saying I wouldn't accept it if it was given to me. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the ultimate thing is to get my creativity out there and share it with
Yeah.
the world. And
Absolutely.
that's number one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying money isn't number one. Number one is sharing my creativity and my craft with the world.
Sam doesn't like
And-
money.
I don't really,
Yeah, she
and
don't
I
like
don't
money.
know.
It's scary.
It's not that I don't like it.
You've met enough people that were
It
bad
scares
because they
me.
had money. Yeah.
Okay, I have a money fear.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
leave me
she
alone.
does. She does. Yeah. Like if I got a shit ton of money, you'd be totally scared.
Because no, thank you.
Well, there's something I read recently. It's interesting. They said, I forget where I read it. It said, getting rich doesn't make you an asshole. It just triggers you because you're always an asshole. If you, the people who become assholes when they're rich,
Yeah.
it just immediately triggers you to that next level.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
you're the gremlin and someone puts water on you, that type of thing. You know what I mean?
I think that's my fear. Am I a gremlin? Like deep down, am I a gremlin?
Yeah.
I don't want to find out. So
You're all bougie.
no, I'm not worried about that. But I am worried about other people in my life becoming gremlins.
No, I get that too.
Just try not to stare so hard at the screen there, Sam.
It's all about being comfortable, and doing this stuff like Armen said earlier in the show. Do it for the right reasons. Figure out what the reasons are you're doing this shit. Do you really have that passion for it? Do you love it? Yeah.
Yeah, the rewards will come. I think, the one thing that I tell my kids who are older now is just be patient. It's nothing's going to happen tomorrow, in a week, in a year, in 2 years. I mean, it might take 5 years for you. It might take 6 years. It might take 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
If you love what you're doing, it will happen eventually. That's just the laws of nature, I believe.
I believe it.
We just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah. And if you're putting in the work, and if you're doing the work and you're taking the time, it will pay off.
And you're having
eventually.
fun.
It will.
It
It
will
will
pay
because
off.
practice does make perfect. It really does. Practice makes it makes better all the time. That's what I always tell my
you
kids.
also
If
you
want
also keep
something-
rising, and then you got all these people that are with you, and they start falling off because they can't
'Cause
hang
they're-
in there
yeah.
anymore.
They
And
don't
you
wanna do it.
rise to the top. It just takes time to rise.
Mhm.
That's how
That's
I look
it.
at
Yeah,
it.
patience is important.
Yep.
That is important.
Yep.
And not everybody's patient, so
Right. Yeah.
And you can't compare yourself to other people. I mean, I've
That
been
too.
guilty of that too in the past where, you look at yourself and you look at how old you are and you're like,
Damn it.
oh shit, at this age, this person did this. Again, all our paths are different.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with you on that
that's
one.
something you should not concern yourself with.
No.
And I do think the younger generation, that's what they look at now, because there are so many successful people at like really young age. They think once they're like 24 and if they haven't succeeded, that's it. And you're like,
fucked.
what are you talking about?
there are
Yeah.
also 6-year-old prodigies that are, I mean,
Right.
geniuses, and so you can't. You really can't. You're absolutely right. Everyone is different.
Yeah, I fell into that too. I think we all would question that.
It's hard,
Yeah,
it's
we
hard
all
not
do.
to.
I mean,
We all
I
do.
still do at times,
Yeah. It's
but
hard not to.
I control myself.
Mhm.
Good for you. Yeah.
It's hard not to do, though.
Yeah.
It is. At times, especially. Like if you're going to your class reunion, you're like,
Well, if that happens
like,
again to
what
you,
are they all doing? Am I
If-
doing better or not? And you always want to know.
it's just the way people are. We're silly.
And
People
I
are
think
silly.
like that. But it doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. No. Well, Armen, if you ever question yourself again, just turn CW on and just watch the fucking show and watch season 1 of Flash. You'll be like, Jesus Christ, I'm badass.
Well, that's the hard thing though, is you kind of put your, for me it was, now I'm looked at the guy who just did like superhero shows to kind of break out. A few years ago, I did go to a few interviews. I had an agent at the time for more serious shows. And I thought I did great during the interviews. But again, that was my perception of it, right?
Right.
And my agent was like, oh my God, you were there for an hour. That rarely happens. He got me super excited about it. And then I didn't get it. And I always think that, did they think like, how's this guy who did a CW superhero show going to do this
Right.
serious HBO shows?
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem, I think, sometimes with not limiting it. Yeah, I guess you
Put
get
you-
like,
Put yourself in a box almost. There.
you put yourself in a box.
Yeah.
And sometimes, even people have told me now, why don't you do a short or, something that's outside of that just to kind of show that you can, even though a lot of my episodes had, pretty dramatic scenes in it, but it doesn't count because it was a CW show,
Well, when people
I get
think of it, what do they think of it as kind of thing? Like, it's not going to come out as
Yeah.
dramatic.
And that's
Yeah.
even with our company.
Or-
That's what people think too. With us, Sam. It's like they know us for documentaries now, thanks to you. But before that, they always say, "Hey, I know this isn't horror, but," and it's like, well, we just don't do horror.
Well, that's what we try to do is dabble in kind
everything.
of everything.
Everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the goal, and the whole point is to make a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
and not just stick to one genre of anything.
No, I don't want to do that. I want to try out the waters everywhere and see
Well, why would you
where
limit
we shine.
yourself?
Yeah.
Why would you limit yourself when the options are limited?
Yeah, the story is a story. I'm passionate about that story. I want to tell it, and that's, Chuck's the same way. That's why he wrote Say Goodbye, the faith-based film. That's why you follow those documentaries you do. I want to do action movies. I want to do horror movies, but I want to do a comedy one day. That would be funny as fuck.
Well,
I'd
challenging
love it.
yourself
I'd
is
love
part
it.
of it,
Yeah.
and that's what keeps it fun and
Yeah.
exciting is the challenge.
Yeah.
That you're always, if you challenge yourself and you don't just stick with what you know or what you're good at,
Mm-hmm.
and you try to branch out and do different things, then that's going to be more exciting and fun.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, that might just be my opinion, but
No, it's true.
that's what I think.
And
It's true. You're right.
you're absolutely right, Sam. And
I tried to write a Disney movie, but I kept trying to kill everybody in the story, so I got to really work on that. And I love Disney.
Oh, man, dude, Armen.
What a fun
Buddy.
conversation that we've had.
Yeah,
today.
man.
It's been
That
awesome.
was great, guys. It was great.
Super cool.
I'm very happy you joined us tonight. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing your
thank
time with
you.
us, man. It's fascinating, and I had no idea who you were, but I've seen your work. Didn't even know it, and it's badass.
Yeah.
Loved your work. I
great.
didn't know it.
Yeah, it's great. Especially that scene. I'm putting that scene in the show. That's gonna be. I don't give a fuck if we get dinged. I'm putting it in. They got to see that butt scene. It's the best.
I'll try to find. I have a making of that scene somewhere. I just need to find it, where it's the raw dailies.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
wow.
Where it's cut together exactly the same way. It
Okay.
just has no cars in it.
Oh,
I'll
cool.
I'll look for it. It's somewhere in my
That's cool.
files.
If you do find the time and do that, I'll probably get to the editing this show this weekend, and I'll try to get it out by the end of the
Okay.
weekend. If you find it before then, please shoot it over, and I'll add that in here because it'll really
fun.
show.
That's fun.
It'll show how much work you did and you guys did over there in Encore. That's fucking great. It's one of many things you've done, man. Armen, thank you for hanging out with
Yeah,
us.
and thank
Absolutely.
you for all
Thank you for-
sharing all
Do
your
you-
knowledge and things that you've learned because I feel like I learned so much.
I know
during
it's
this.
cool, right? It's
Yeah, it's really cool.
cool. Yeah,
People are gonna love this one.
you gotta fucking love this movie.
Sorry, Chuck.
You gotta love making movies. Sorry,
Chuck. I
Do you
didn't.
have,
We'll shut
no,
up.
it's okay. Armen, do you have anything coming down the pipe that you can share?
There's a few things that there's one project I'm working with a show creator. I'm helping him put a test together. It's for a TV show, and I'm hoping if the test goes well, if he sells the show, that I could kind of work with him as just a regular producer and direct some of the episodes. So there's that. There was a script given to me a few years back, which I've been trying to get made for me to direct. It's very specific to California. That's kind of limiting. Where if it was kind of open to other places, I think maybe we would have found financing a little bit easier. Because California really doesn't have any kind of rebates or any kind of incentives or anything like that.
Right.
We don't either.
But you guys still have, I know that there's the Seattle, what is it called? Filmworks? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they have some interesting things that you could try to get money from the state if you shoot in the state and if the crew's in the state. And I'm a Washington resident now. So I think one of the things is like the director has to be a Washington resident, and all that.
Yeah. They have.
I just got that email last week.
They get
Yeah,
pretty
exactly. That's the one.
specific.
Yeah.
They get kind of specific as far as in my
Yeah.
learning of it, but yeah, there are some things you just have to be on top of it.
I'm waiting for the one where they was sexy 50-year-old black guy.
Yeah,
No.
They're not casting for
you're
the
gonna
position.
be waiting a while
With dimples.
'cause- Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying. I'll get it. One of these days it'll happen. You gotta have faith, brother. You
No,
gotta have
but
faith.
all that stuff. I mean, all the funding that is available, and there is a lot. Yeah, there is. I mean, it's endless. But you do have to. You have to be on top of it as far as
Yeah, it's
timelines
work.
go, and you have to. It is work. It's like a job in and of itself.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
you have to be
that's
really
part
on
of it,
top
though.
But
That's-
it's out there. It is
It's
out
part
there.
of it. All of this.
It is out there.
Yeah, all of it is a part of it. You gotta learn it all and know it all. You should. If you don't, if you just go out there, I'm gonna make a movie that's gonna go great and we're gonna make a lot of money, then you're doing this for reasons. You don't even know how to market. You don't know how to
It's
budget.
a
you don't know how to
thousand crafts
you don't know
in
anything.
one craft.
So much shit you gotta do. You
Yeah.
have no idea. And if you don't love it all, like doing this podcast, I love it. Marketing our stuff, talking to people about our work, I love it. putting it on Facebook or Instagram or fucking Twitter. I love it. It's fun. All of it.
I don't love it all. I'm not going to lie.
I do.
But I live through Aaron who loves it all.
I can't
literally.
wait. I get so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to put this post up. It's going to be badass. That's how I feel every day.
Anything that makes you that exciting.
Yeah.
Go on.
As exciting as he does get about these things, this morning he calls me. And I'm like, hang on, man. I'm finishing a post really quick.
Yeah.
And then I'm still typing. He's like, just take your time. I'm just sitting here.
Yeah, finish your tweet. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, finish tweet. Hashtag it. Okay.
Anyway, all right. Armen, we're going to give you your day back, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Chuck,
Thank you, guys.
close out the show, my man.
We'll keep in touch, and you never know. Maybe we'll work together all.
That would be amazing.
It'd
Well,
be
shit,
an
since
honor.
you're so
It'd be an
close, and you have multiple talents, I'm always willing to reach out and touch someone.
Chuck, don't make
Yeah.
So, Armen, let me say
Don't
thank you so
ruin it
much.
for us.
I didn't ruin anything, shit. And Armen, thank you for joining us today on Around the Reel. Thank you for hanging out for a conversation, and I had a drink after I had my dinner, so this is not very effective. So
No wonder.
my bad. Going off everything that we talked about today, the biggest thing to remember for everybody is remember that don't put yourself in a box and don't let anybody else put you there either. Remember that you want to find a mentor or somebody, a place you want to get to in your life. You want to find somebody that you can model your ideas after. Don't model your life after them, be an individual. But find somebody who can mentor you. But remember to turn the fuck around and grab somebody behind you because somebody else is looking behind you and they want a hand up too. So always make sure this is a human ladder. Let's keep climbing together. Chase those dreams, have fun, and remember, think hard because you're thinking anyway.
We'll see everybody later.
Bye.
All right, bye, guys. Take care.
Take care. Armen.
Thanks, Armen.
Thank you so
brother.
much.
Appreciate you.
For those of you that want to be a guest on Around the Reel, please email Sam at aroundthereal253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereal253@gmail.com.
Not Messenger. Do not message Aaron on Messenger because then he has to send you a message that says email Sam at aroundthereal253@gmail.com.
That's aroundthereal253@gmail.com.
How come they can't just message me again?
Because nobody wants to fucking talk to you.
Can anybody reach out? That's an artist, filmmaker, actor?
If you're an artist of any kind, we want to hear from you.
But we are going to vet the crap out of you.
We don't care if you make millions of dollars in Hollywood or if you're just beginning your career in the art industry. We don't care. So everybody that wants to be on Around the Reel, yes, we want you.
That's aroundthereal253@gmail.com.